All right, everybody. So this is episode 6, right, Sid, of Asked and Answered. So before I get to the next question, I want to remind everybody we need questions. We got a lot of great questions in the last Ask, so I'm asking again. There's no silly question. I promise you, if you have a question, lots of other people have the same question. You know how people are. They're bashful about asking what they believe might be a silly question, but I promise you, that's what we're all about here, is answering questions and providing education, because if you're not educated, it's hard to make good decisions. So, Sid, with that, what is our question today?
Today's question for Scott is, what are some terms in your vocabulary that many of your clients may hear but not understand?
Wow. Well, most of my clients know I'm a pretty simple dude. So when it comes to vocabulary, I try to stay away from acronyms and jargon. And I have a very simple theory on this, is any idiot can make the complex complex, right? It takes some skill and intelligence to make the complex simple. And I'm a pretty simple person. As all of you know, I'm a fairly straightforward person. I don't need to dazzle people to the point where, what I find is when you're dealing with somebody who uses a lot of jargon and a lot of acronyms, they're trying to get you to not ask questions they can't answer, right? After a while, you get confused. You feel silly because you don't know what they're talking about. And you're like, well, clearly this person's intelligent because they're using all these words that I don't understand. Sharp ratios and correlations and information ratios and standard deviation and betas and alphas and gammas and Lord knows there's a million terms that advisors like to throw around. And when they do that, it tells me they don't really know what they're talking about, or more importantly, they don't know how to explain to the person that's hired them what they're trying to explain. It'd be like me going to a doctor and them saying you're sick and start talking to me on some molecular level in terms that I don't understand, and I leave there with no idea what I actually have, right? So I'm not a fan of that. When somebody does that to me in an area like medicine or somewhere that I'm not familiar, I say, no, dumb it down. I want the third grader level, which is perfect for me, as many of you know. So I don't know that there's any jargon or terms that I use. I suspect that people don't understand. If I'm forced to use a term, I use it to educate. If I say, well, here's the beta score on this portfolio, which for those of you who don't remember is a risk measure. It's how we say a beta of 1 would be the equivalent, theoretically, of the risk in your portfolio at a beta of 1 would be the same as the S&P 500. I wouldn't just say the beta is 1. I would say, so how we measure risk is through beta, and this is what beta means, and this is what your beta score is. I wouldn't just say your beta score is this in hopes to dazzle the client and hope they don't ask me any follow-up questions, right? I've said this to many clients over the years. An educated client is easier to talk to. So I don't know that there's any terms that I use. I hope there's not, that goes over somebody's head or they don't understand, or worse yet, intimidates them into not asking a better question. So the answer to that is I don't think I use any words that folks wouldn't understand.